All right. Salaki, I was looking at some Shalom. Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the whole elect that are pushing his word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. This is the brother Batat back again through the spirit with another lesson, and Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. As the title says, in the news, new Demic, question mark. So is this the new Demic? You should know what I mean when I say Demic. I'm just not saying the first part of the letter. I'm just not saying the first part of the word. But question mark, is this the new Demic? So if you don't know, there has been a lot of news coming out recently about this virus that's been going around, which we already know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah that something's fishy about this situation. You know, these devils knew about this situation, and now it's just starting to come to the forefront. Now everybody just starting to be hip to it. It's just a lot of things that's not adding up about this situation, but ultimately this could be a setup or whatever. You know how Esau gets down. So I went on Google and I typed in Black Swan event simple meaning. It says a Black Swan event is a highly unpredictable, rare occurrence that carries massive, often catastrophic consequences, and is mistakenly rationalized as having been predicted after it happens. It is an unknown that breaks normal logic, such as the 2008 financial crisis or CV19. See? So 2020 would have been classified as a Black Swan event. That, with the lockdowns. And I'm going to play this video. But first, I'm going to read the copyright statute. Display it on the screen. And this is not medical information. I am not a doctor. This is not medical information. If you need a doctor, seek a real doctor, a real physician. This is not medical information. So this is the copyright statute. It says copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976 allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So this is for fair use, fair use. So let's play this video right here that Elder Apostle Tahar just put up. Let's get it.
Shalom, real quick, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shalom, Shalom, Kakuta, Shalom, 244,000. Let's see, elect out there, Shalom to you all. I'm going to title this video, They Locking Ninjas Down in Spain, according to this individual right here, Full Spectrum Survival. Let's go ahead and listen.
Business closures, concert closures, and large
Fair use.
indoor gathering closures, mask mandates, isolation requirements in public spaces, suspension of high-risk activities at a national scale from June onward, according to their math models. You would have broad international lockdowns that are not similar to what we experienced in America.
Let's go back.
And right now we're looking at a world war, crop problems, supply issues, food problems, a hantavirus plague potential, and the discussion that the White House is opening up alien information to everybody. Again, we're living in a lot of coincidence, aren't we? All right, let's see. We've got caveats and recommendations that we discussed. The percentage chance of activity, we went over that a little bit. Let me get down to the phased response recommendation by the virologist. In the immediate phase, late May 2026, upon the first confirmed clusters, so again, around May 21st, when the clusters are confirmed, the government would have to push for strict isolation of suspected cases.
What does that mean? Lockdowns all over again. So could this be the next Black Swan event? It remains to be seen.
A 35-day quarantine for all.
Let me grab this real quick precept. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Hold on. I had to pull up this precept while I was in my head. I had to get this precept real quick before I forget it. All right. So let me read this again. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." So we need to walk circumspectly. That means we got to pay attention to everything that's going on around us, to scope. We got to pay attention to the news. We got to pay attention to all the things that's going on. We got to watch and sound the alarm. And this is something else that we're warning our people about. Every move that Esau makes, we have to be paying attention to it. The NLT says, Ephesians 5 and 15, so be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. See? Let me see if some other translations say. The BBE says, take care then how you living, not as unwise, but as wise. The AMP says, therefore, see that you walk carefully, living life with honor, purpose, and courage, shunning those who tolerate and enable evil, not as the unwise, but as wise, sensible, intelligent, discerning people. So you have to be circumspect about everything that's going on in this world right now. Because remember, the world is a stage, and we're looking forward to certain prophecies that come in the past. Circumspect. See what the word circumspect means: cautious, weary, literally looking about on all sides. Deliberate, guarded, well considered, looking around, take heed. See, so to observe. So we're observing everything, and this is another thing that is in the news. It's catching our attention, and we have to report on things like this. Another quick precept. Proverbs 22:3. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So we got to be prudent, meaning we got to be wise. And this is another situation that we have to pay attention to and be mindful of. Because could it be the next pandemic? Could it be the next pandemic? We don't know. Could it be the next Black Swan event? We don't know. So let's get back into this video.
Close contacts of those 35 cases and targeted.
Here we go again. This time it's going to be worse, and we know what's really going on. We know it's really good.
Travel restrictions from all regional areas. Escalating that into June, if we're talking about Black Death level.
Bubonic plague, bubonic pneumonic plague.
You would have regional lockdowns, stay-at-home orders, closures of schools, non-essential business closures, concert closures, and large indoor gatherings.
Put the mask on again. Get on them long-ass lines to go into Targets. I went into Targets every fucking day. Got on the fucking long-ass line to get in, then get on a long-ass line to cash out.
Other enclosures, mask mandates, improved ventilation requirements in public spaces, suspension of high-risk activities.
All them gyms. I just got a membership at a gym. They're gonna close the gym down. How many gyms went out of business? You know how many businesses went out of business over that thing? You're talking 5 years ago.
At a national scale from June onward, according to their math models, you would have broad.
It's June. Ain't no microchip. I had to say
international lockdowns that are not similar to what we experienced in America.
All right, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai.
I'm gonna have to check out this video. The title really caught my caught my eye. Redeeming the time because the days are evil, which is what we're gonna get into real quick. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16. It says, I'm gonna start at 15 and then read 16 again. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wives, redeeming the time because the days of evil. See, so we are living in, we have to pay attention to the times that we're living in. Because the days are evil. We making every work count towards righteousness, in order to possibly escape in these calamities that the Most High is bringing. So let me go back here. Where was I? It's not a
regional lockdowns, stay-at-home orders, closures of schools, non-essential business closures, concert closures, and large indoor gatherings.
Put the mask on again. Get on them long-ass lines to go into Targets. I went into Targets every fucking day. Got on the fucking long-ass line to get in, then get on a long-ass line to cash out.
Other enclosures, mask mandates, improved ventilation requirements in public spaces, suspension of high-risk activities.
All them gyms. I just got a membership at a gym. They're gonna close the gym down.
word according to their math models, welding the doors of everyone's house.
And that's what they did. I don't know if they did it to all of China or certain cities, Hong Kong or whatever. I don't think they did it to everybody. God damn. They motherfuckers were locked in. The government had to bring them food. Sometimes they didn't they any food. They pushing you to that wall, and the relief is going to be that chip. This might be, they might introduce a chip. I doubt it, but they might.
Closed. And coming to pick up the dead later. Now, the 1 to 4 week incubation period that is known with this variation that spreads person to person, if it has symptomatic transmission,
they said it can't be spread person to person. That's what they said.
is a silent spread phase, he said.
Unless they do a thing called gain of function, you can look that up.
Time the hospital clusters become visible, May 21st of this year, 2 weeks away, you would already see hundreds, maybe thousands potentially infected, and given a 4 out of 10.
All right, gain of function. It says gain of function research is a scientific process that genetically alters an organism like a virus or bacteria to give it new or enhanced capabilities. Enhanced abilities such as higher transmissibility, increased virulence, or the ability to infect new host species. It is used to study pathogen evolution for developing vaccines and therapies, though it carries risks if the enhanced agent is harmful. So this is what the Apostle Tahar was talking about, gain of function.
10 death rate, you would already see, he said.
Unless they do a thing called gain of function, you can look that up.
Time the hospital clusters become visible, May 21st of this year, 2 weeks away, you would already see hundreds, maybe thousands potentially infected, and given a 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 death rate, you would see an overwhelming response, maximizing the effectiveness of non-pharmaceutical interventions.
This is some bullshit.
In comparison to the Black Death, the historical response to the bubonic plague involved port quarantine, isolating everybody who was sick. But these isolations were implemented too late, so they weren't effective. He said to understand what we're facing right now, modern surveillance does have early detection. However, with a
bottom line, he's locking everybody down. I mean, if y'all want to come to this page and watch the rest of this, you can. Anyway, let's hope this is fair use. Let's hope you.
All right, that was the first video. Let me play this video right here. It's 7 minutes long. It's going on more information, going on these demics, and get some more precepts. While this play is playing, I'm gonna grab some more precepts and have them already ready.
So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
I don't want nobody to panic, but 7 Americans that was aboard that goddamn ship that has the hantavirus have returned home. And I do mean home to the United States. So according to MedPage Today, multiple sources reported that 26 members of that ship got off on April April 24th in St. Helena. They all decided to take their ass home. And 7 of them were Americans. And these are the states that they took their ass to, were the ones we know so far. Arizona, California, Georgia, Texas, and Virginia. And baby, a spokesperson for the California Department of Health told MedPage that they were notified by the CDC that California residents was aboard that fucking ship, but they don't show no signs of being sick. Now, the CDC also says we're coordinating with local health officials as needed to monitor returning travelers. They said right now, none of the travelers seem to be affected or ill, but the incubation time for the hantavirus is like 4 to 6 weeks, so we got time. The Georgia Department of Public Health told MedPage today it is monitoring 2 Georgia residents who return home after disembarking the fucking ship. Keep your ass in the fucking house. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. They said,
and that's how they want y'all to be, man. This is the type of reaction that they want. They want you to stay in the house. So you have that type of mentality. You're playing right into their hands because they want to bring these fucking lockdowns. This is nothing but what is it called? It's starting something dialected. I'm gonna try to find it. Something dialected. I'm gonna try my best to spell it. If you know what I'm talking about, can help me out. Pressure from above, pressure from below. Let me type that in. Maybe it'll pop up. Problem, reaction, solution is a good one as well. Pressure from above, pressure from below describes a scenario where an object, person, or organization is squeezed between 2 opposing forces. It's physics. It refers to hydrostatic pressure, weight or liquid above, buoyancy below, or atmospheric pressure at different altitudes. In business as politics, it means facing simultaneous pressure from leadership and consumer/citizen demands. What is it called? It's hailing dialectic. Here it is. The problem, reaction, solution dynamic is a manipulative strategy often linked to the Hegelian dialectic. That's what it is. Hegelian dialectic. I'm probably saying it wrong. Forgive me. It says of order out of chaos, where any entity creates or exploits a crisis problem, triggers fear-based public demand for action. See? So create a crisis or a problem, it triggers fear-based public demand for action. That's the reaction. See, so what she was saying, let's go back to it. What she was saying, let me go back.
Told MedPage today it is monitoring 2 Georgia residents who return home after disembarking the fucking ship. Keep your ass in the fucking house.
See, that's the type of reaction that they want. They want you to react that way. Because that shows it's triggered fear. That's what they want. It plays right into their hand. It says triggers fear-based public demand for action. What is the action? lockdowns. It says, and then implements a pre-planned agenda, which is the solution. Lockdowns. It is used to justify societal controls. What is that? You can't move freely. Surveillance, which that's already going. There's cameras everywhere. Or policy changes that wouldn't normally be accepted. See? So through situations like, these, black swan event. Let's go back to the word black swan event. A black swan event is a highly unpredictable, rare occurrence that carries massive, often catastrophic consequences, and is mistakenly rationalized as having been predictable after it happens. It is an unknown that breaks normal logic, such as 2008 financial crisis or the CV19 Demic. It's like you. So, could this be the next one, the next Demic? That's the question.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. They said the individuals are currently in good health and show no signs of an infection. This black woman is going to have her hands full with the CDC. Thank God you walked in, though. I just came across something that is insane. You know how everyone doesn't want them to get off the ship, keep them on the ship, don't let them disembark? Well, guess what? You know, the Swiss couple, the husband, they flew back to Switzerland, they disembarked early, and now he went to the hospital, he has it, they're both in quarantine, they're monitoring her for symptoms. I was thinking, why would they let them off? It's very weird. So as I started researching, guess what, guys? 23 people, not just those two, 23 people got off that cruise at the same time. Many went on to travel to different, continue a trip somewhere else. Many went home, went to Taiwan, went to the UK, went to Australia, went to the Netherlands, and guess what else? Went home to America. 23 people already got off of that ship between April 21st and April 24th, and we haven't heard a single word about it.
Okay, we are all over this story for you. Breaking this morning, Dutch authorities say a flight attendant who was in touch with a woman who died from hantavirus in South Africa has been admitted to a hospital after showing symptoms. There are also new reports that some of the Americans who were on board that ship plagued by an outbreak for days have returned back home. Well, now there's growing worry that they may have brought the rare and deadly virus back with them. Nick's here with the...
Now, why would they allow them to leave? That's what's so fishy about it. Why would they allow these people to leave unless they wanted this shit to happen? Which we know the scripture says never trust thine enemy. We know when it comes to Esau, he always up to some mischief. Real quick precept. This is why we need to get up out of this place, because Esau, he engineers these different types of crises to achieve what he wants. Psalms 17:13, it says, "Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." See? We want the Lord to deliver us from the wicked, which is the sword. They ultimately want to bring the lockdowns again. Now, I went on Google and I typed in biological warfare definition. It says biological warfare is the intentional use of microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, or toxic substances produced by living organisms to cause death, disease, or decapitation in humans, animals, or plants. These agents are used as weapons to cause fear, economic disruption, and mass casualties, often intended to attack military forces or civilian populations. See? And here goes some examples. The agents used, common agents includes anthrax, plague, Ebola, and I'm gonna just call it bot toxin. I don't know if I'm gonna do all that. So this is a real thing. Biological warfare is a real thing, where they use these different diseases to cause fear and even death. So we pay attention, because this is, when it comes to war, this is a part of Esau's sword. Didn't he use this on the Native Americans? What did he do to what did he put in the blankets? Put smallpox in the blankets. It says the intentional use of biological warfare against Native Americans is a documented historical fact, primarily involving deliberate spread of smallpox, while many indigenous deaths resulted from accidental exposure to European diseases. Specific military and trade incidents highlight the weaponization of germs. See? Notable incidents and figures. This is the siege of Fort Pitt, 1763. During Pontiac's rebellion, British officers intentionally gave smallpox infected blankets and a handkerchief to Delaware Lenape emissaries. A diary entry by trade William Trent confirmed the gifts were from a smallpox hospital, expressing hope they would have the desired effect. See? So it's a lot of history on this. I was reading this right here. The Missouri River tribes. What is it? I'm gonna read this paragraph right here. It says the European use of biological weapons wasn't left behind when they came to the shores of the New World. During the French and Indian War, British troops gave blankets to the Indians from a hospital that was treating smallpox victims, devastating native populations. So you think this is something new to Esau? That he's just not started doing this shit? No, this is an old trick. Give people different diseases or viruses. They have shown you in their history that they will do something that low to cause people to be sick.
Latest on this story. Nick, officials in several states are now monitoring this entire situation.
Absolutely, Mark. They're doing what they call contact tracing. They want to make sure that anyone who is on this ship is not taking that virus anywhere with them without being traced. While the CDC tries to tamp down public fears, at least 3 state health departments are keeping tabs on people who were just on board the MV Hondias. The New York Times reports that California, Georgia, and Arizona state health departments are each monitoring residents who were on that beleaguered ship. Right now, however, the 2 people in Georgia are not showing any symptoms. Those reports come after 3 people were evacuated off the ship on Wednesday, including the ship's doctor. There have been 3 confirmed hantavirus cases on board, with 5 more suspected. 3 passengers have died. The ship with nearly 150 people still on board is expected to dock in Spain's Canary Islands in a few days, where the remaining passengers and crew will be evaluated. In the meantime, Marky, those still on board are being asked to social distance, sanitize their hands, and isolate in their rooms as much as possible.
What does that sound like? Sounds like 2020 all over again.
I still can't imagine being on board this ship for any of this. So, Nick, what's all being done to ensure the virus doesn't spread off that ship to land into other communities now?
Yeah, Marky, they want to tamp down public fears, right? As we mentioned, several state health agencies are monitoring the situation here at home, but doctors say for the most part, people really don't have anything to worry about.
The only documented cases where it looked like there might be human-to-human spread were very close contacts, husband and wife, parent and child, people who lived in very close proximity to one another.
And on Tuesday, that sentiment was echoed in a statement by the CDC's acting director, who said, quote, "The risk to the American public is very low," adding that the virus is only spread by close contact with symptomatic carriers. Meanwhile, the ship's crew and passengers will be examined in Spain before being sent to their home countries. The 14 Spanish passengers on board will then quarantine in a military hospital in Madrid before being allowed to return to their communities. Other countries have said they will isolate or monitor passengers when they return home.
What the fuck do you mean that there's no cure for the Hunter virus, that it is only treatable? So there is no cure for the Hunter virus. Doctors can only treat the symptoms. There is a 40% death rate, and 1 in 3 people that catch the virus will die. There is no vaccine or anything. You don't catch this virus by just touching somebody contact to contact. You can stand right next to them and breathe it in, and you can catch it that way.
Rats and rodents didn't just start pooping and peeing on things yesterday. Where in the fuck did this virus really come from? Rats and rodents. If rats and rodents were passing around a virus, why is New York still here? Literally, they have rats on the subway, all on the seats, all around the poles. Don't you think by now someone would have contracted this and we would have been spreading this shit like no tomorrow? Like, come on, man. We got to start using our cognitive thinking here. Rats and rodents are in all kinds of industry in this country. Do you know how many restaurants in the United States have rats and rodents? Do you know how many schools have rats and rodents? Do you know how many places, warehouses that have food that have rats and rodents? Where do you think that this shit really came from? Why is it that every time this man gets in the office, we have some sort of an outbreak? Did you guys not remember the cruise ships that were sitting there?
All right, so that's the end of that video. The word pestilence, it says the word pestilence is a fatal epidemic disease, especially the bubonic plague. That's an example of a pestilence. Let's see. See if I can find a quick precept. It's the book of Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. See? Pestilence. So it's our job, it's our responsibility to come out here on the highways and the byways and do these lessons to teach you and warn you about the things that are coming down the pipe. You know, World War III, the MOTB, which is the RFID micro CHIP. That this could be another example or what another reason why Esau usher in the CHIP. So we must warn you about these things, because you know Esau, he's heavy into doing biological warfare. You see, that's one of his tactics. So we are here warning you. So there's a lot of scriptures on this word pestilence. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is the Lord using Esau on the left-hand side to bring this pestilence upon you. Jeremiah 33:27. Let's see. So you really get the point. Let me get another precept. Sorry. And to get the book of the Apocrypha. I'm about to get ready to close out though. All right, Sirach. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like his unrest, so is his wickedness." So the scriptures tell you, don't never trust your enemy. You know, you need to be aware, like the scripture brought out earlier. You know, be circumspect, redeeming the tongue, because the days are evil. Esau is coming up with a lot of evil and wicked devices. And biological warfare is one of them. And that's what you people need to understand, that we are dealing with the devil. He doesn't play fair. He doesn't play with a full deck. He cheats. You see? Ephesians 5:15. "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." So we got to be mindful of the times, because we're living in the evil days. And don't trust your enemy. Never trust him. See? Let's see. Wicked devices. This is another reason why these devils got to go. You know, you can't just live. You got to cause all kinds of wickedness, evil in the earth, engineering all of these diseases. Proverbs 14:17 says, he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. See, a man of wicked devices, and that's exactly what Esau does. You know, he's always cooking up something wicked. Isaiah chapter 32 verse 7, it says, "The instruments also of the truer are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right." So the true, speaking about like a low life, if you will. Let's see what is the instruments of the true. Kayala. Forgive me if I'm saying that Hebrew word wrong. Which means a scoundrel. Withholding, niggardly. Let's see, hold on. It's been a long day, man. A scoundrel, which means what? A base, mean worthless fellow. So that's exactly what it's referring to when it says the word true, talking about a base person, a base man. And as the scripture says, Edom is a base man, you know. Kaya. So the instruments of the true, which is what a base person are. Let's read it again. But this time we're gonna supplement. We're gonna change out the word. It says the instruments also of the true, which is a base. Let's go back here. A base, mean, worthless fellow. See, and Esau is that. That's what he is. He's a base man, a low life, a piece of shit. The instruments also of the true are evil. See, he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. So these devils, they're bringing forth wicked devices, and biological warfare or bioterrorism is one of those. But they present it to you like it's just a normal occurrence. It's something that's supposed to happen. Oh, it's a unprecedented event, when they are the ones that engineered it. They're the ones that are they are the ones that are making up these different weapons to use against the population, you know. And they show you this in the movies. They show you in the movies, man. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, and we're gonna wasn't gonna make this lesson too long. As the title says, new Demic, ? Is this the new Demic? We'll find out. We don't know how far this is gonna go, but to those out there that don't know about it, I hope you learned something. I hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I'm gonna close it out by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash, upon us to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect that are pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.